This video is going to be one of the largest in the making videos I have ever made. I will be going into depth on how I made this beautiful pedestal and trestle style epoxy coffee table from scratch. Stay tuned in to see how. What's up, y'all? It's Daniel coming back at y'all once again for a brand new project in my brand new shop. So this is going to be the first project that I record on video in this shop. What we have here is I have this cookie that some of you, if you guys follow me, may remember me cutting out these cookies from a previous project where I dug a stump out of the ground. I chopped some of them up and I flattened them out, and this is one of those cookies. We're gonna turn this into a little coffee table today, and we're gonna make a leg. I have this right over here, which this is from one of my previous projects as well. So I figured I'd pull this sucker out. I was going to use this for another project, but I never ended up using it, so we're gonna use it for this one. Now that we have this taken down a little bit, it'll fit just fine through the planer. Next step is we're going to cut these all to the same length. I just finished cleaning these up and planing them down. I'm just going to draw lines. Drawing our line. Put that to one side. Draw our line. And draw our line. Now comes my favorite part of the whole process, is the glue up. We're going to begin our glue up by choosing the orientation of the boards here. So I'm going to have them layered exactly as you see here. They're all going to go together just like that. Got my handy dandy tap bone 3, son. Look at that right there. We're going to start off by lathering her up real nice and good. Look at that. Make sure your wood is nice and glued. Uh-oh, we're clumping up here. The glue should come out. There we go. Now we can lather her up real nice. All right, beautiful. Everybody has all these fancy glue tools. I just use my finger. Get that finger nice and wet. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Rub it all over your wood, okay? Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there. All right. I'm gonna time lapse this because this is gonna take a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this here to dry for about roughly 20 to 40 minutes. The glue's dried on it, so we're gonna send it through the joiner and flatten out the sides and square up the corners. Alright, so I've been up pretty much all night, but I'm still alive. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 maybe. I don't know, what time is it? It's 9:16 in the morning, and I'm still here, still alive. And we have this glue up finally done on these pieces. We got 4 pieces. So the next step is to send them through the planer so we get the tops and the bottoms nice and flush. So I usually start off by connecting the shop back here in the back. The fitting's not quite perfect. I gotta kind of shove it in there to get it to fit, but it does work. It stays in there. As you can see, it works beautifully. And then over here, you'll notice I have a clamp on it. And the reason for the clamp is because what I do is I take one off. Hold on, I gotta put the camera down. Alright, so I'll take that hose off and we leave this clamp on because the planer has its own blower. So the DeWalt planer has its own blower internally on the inside about right here, and it blows the sawdust into the hose. And I've had problems keeping this lid on because it puts pressure inside of the bucket when it fills it with air, and that lid tends to pop off sometimes. So I have a clamp on there to hold it on so that lid doesn't come off. I usually take the back of this hose off so that this air is free to escape the bucket, and it relieves the bucket of most of the pressure, so it's less likely to pop off, and it sucks up a lot more sawdust when you have more air flowing through the hose. Some of you might be thinking, well, won't the sawdust come out the top? But nope, it doesn't come out the top. This lid is actually designed to collect dust and prevent it from going into the shop vac. So the only thing that comes out this part here is air. All of the dust gets trapped inside of the bucket. Now that the bucket is hooked up, we can raise our planer and send her on through. And there we have it. We have 4 pieces glued together and beautifully planed down. Check out that smooth surface, no sanding needed. You might be wondering, wow, Antonio, what kind of sorcery is this? And well, I'll tell you exactly what kind of sorcery it is. It's Slytherin, dark magic. Just kidding, but in all honesty, it is pretty magical. The magic of DeWalt. Wow, that is insane. Just like that, we turned 4 pieces into 2. You guys may have noticed I have our block over here on top of the pedestal. What I did was I marked a center line on the pedestal, and I marked a center line here on the trestle as well, so I could line those 2 up. This line was a mistake. It's these 2 right here. And that is gonna allow me to get a pencil, because I lost the pencil I was holding 2 seconds ago. Oh, there it is, I see it. And that is going to allow me to draw a line right on each side of this, so I know exactly where the block is going to be placed. We are now ready to start cutting. Cut came out a little bit jagged around these edges here, but that is a-okay. Not too big of a deal because the shape came out perfect, and that's all we're really after. The next part is to cut out this octagon. Check that out, guys. We have a perfect tenon here. Or is it the mortise? I always get them mixed up. Now we have a beautiful circle. Now that we have the mortise done on the pedestal, we can move on to the next part. We're going to cut the male part out of the trestle here. I already have it loaded up, so let's start cutting. That is super satisfying. Alright, so we have one of the side pieces loaded up right here in the Shaper Origin workstation, and we're going to cut our next mortise and tenon, but this time I'm going to try something a little bit different. Alright, so we have another one done, and it came out perfect, but you may notice that these inside corners are a bit rounded. That's because the bit itself is round, so when it comes to those corners, it leaves a rounded corner. So how are we going to fit a square piece into rounded corners? Well, the answer is simple. If we come over here to the router table, I have on here a 1/4 inch diameter round over bit, and all we got to do is you get your piece and we'll round over those edges. And if we do our test fit and see how well it fits, damn, that is perfect. Yep, that's in there pretty good. Even without glue, that is a super tight hold. It's starting to come together. It's actually starting to look like a coffee table. Now for the next step is to start carving out the trestle and pedestal. Alright, for the next step here, we're at the Delta bandsaw, and I have one of the legs with me right here, or one of the pieces of the leg. We're gonna go ahead and attempt to cut out this quick design I drew out. I don't know if the camera can see that, but I swapped it out for a somewhat newer blade, but I think because this is a smaller bandsaw, it's gonna have a challenge cutting wood this thick, but let's give it a shot and see what she can do. Well, I am genuinely impressed. I wasn't expecting the blade to cut as well as it did, just because the material is so thick, but I managed to get the whole thing off in one piece. And wow, that's actually not too bad of a cut. I think it came out awesome. This is going to be super easy to sand down, and I am very happy with it. Now this, we can easily clean it up with the orbital palm sander. Right now I have on there some 120 grit. For the final finishing touches on these, this wood does have a couple holes in it for some reason, like this one right here. This one I cut out with a Shaper Origin. As you can see here, is what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drill these out and we're gonna fill them with a dowel. Get our glue bot, put just a little bit of glue in each one, get our dowel and stick it in there until the glue comes out. These ones are going to be tight, but there are some grooves on the side for the glue to squeeze out a little, hopefully. Yep, I can see it squeezing out. Now that we have the feet all completed, the next step is to carve this bad boy out. So I'm going to come over here to the computer and I'm just going to look up some epoxy designs, and what I want to look for is I want to look for some wild shapes. Typically you want to find some pictures that were taken directly from the top of the table, which is pretty difficult to find because most of them are taken from a side view. Alright guys, so I found this one, and what I'm going to do is we're going to save this image into pictures. Now I already have it open here, but we're going to open up Inkscape and we're going to import that picture we just saved right into Inkscape. So we're going to drag and we're going to drop that right in, and you're going to see this message that says JPEG bitmap image import. We're going to click OK. Here's our image, and what we're going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get the Bezier tool, and we're going to manually copy the edging here, the design of the table. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to start right here, and I'm just going to start clicking around the design, the edge of the table here, and that's how I get my design. And then once I have this all copied, we're going to upload it into the shape of origin, and we're going to carve it onto our leg. Alright, now that I've finished tracing the outline, what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out and move the picture out of the way, and you'll see the line we have here. This is going to be the line that we're going to use for our design. I'm going to come over to document properties and I'm going to change it to inches, and we're going to change this to inches as well. Close that out. That way I can properly size this so it's not too big or not too small. I'm going to come over here, click on this corner here. That way we can get that little rotational symbol. We're going to rotate it to its side because we want to adjust the size of the length here. Align one end at 0 and say, I guess we can make it about 22 inches. Go to File, Save As. We want to hit Plain SVG, and I'm going to label it River SVG File, Save. Now I also have this little shaper USB that I'm going to plug right into the side, and I'm just going to save it right into the USB real quick. So I'm going to save as. I usually save it in both my computer and the USB. Now we can take the USB out and we'll plug it right into the shaper here. Plug that right into the side. I gotta plug it in. Alright, so if we go into the shaper, let's hit import. Make sure you're inside the USB. Now I have a few river files because I've done this before. So we click on this one. This is the one we just made, river SVG file. And voila, there is your river, ready to place wherever you need on your project. So let's go get our leg, place it down, and we'll put it in place and we'll start carving it out. On the workstation, if we look at the design here, I'm going to try to wrap it around and get it on at least 3 of the 4 sides. So I'm going to start with this little tip here right on the edge, and I'm going to wrap it right around that knot. Now, after everything is said and done, this is what we are left with. This is the first of 3 sides. We're gonna fill this with epoxy, let it harden, and then tomorrow we're gonna start carving out the next one. Now, I would like to note here that I decided on a final depth of 1.2 inches for the fill here. And the reason for that is I was using this template, which I used on a previous project. It's kind of old. It's been sitting outside a long time, but it still works. Nice template. Basically, if we put this on the side here, when we cut out our carving with the bandsaw, the bottom of the carving here does not exceed 1.2 inches. So we want this carving to be a little bit deeper than what we're going to carve out on the bandsaw. Now typically before I do an epoxy pour of any kind, I always like to seal the wood. So here I have some oil-based polyurethane. Doesn't matter whether it's oil-based or water-based, so long as it's dry when you do the epoxy pour. And I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush here, and we're going to start sealing the walls here. You want to seal the walls especially well because it's end grain, and end grain tends to be super thirsty. Now the purpose of sealing your wood is so that when you're doing your epoxy pour, you don't get air bubbles coming in from the wood into your epoxy. Right about there. So I'm gonna stir this for about 5 to 10 minutes. I guess while I'm mixing this, I can show you guys my little box of colors here. I'm probably going to use this one. This is brand new. This is iridescent blue. I have a whole big container of it. I'm going to show you guys a quick shot of me mixing in the color. Here's what the iridescent blue looks like. I think it's very beautiful. One of my favorite colors for sure. I'm just going to get a couple scoops like that, maybe one more, and we're going to mix that right in. Now this stuff does take a very long time to mix, so I'm going to go ahead and skip forward just a minute. Alright, we are done mixing it, and I'm going to let you guys in on a little tip that I have learned. If you guys plan on swirling your epoxy, what I like to do is before I even do the pour is I'm actually going to let this sit in the cup for about 6 to 8 hours, and then I'm going to come back and do the pour. I would recommend checking on it every couple hours just to make sure it's not too thick. So I'm actually going to come back here in a couple hours. Alright, it's been about 4 hours. This is how it's looking really good. It's thickened up just a little bit, not a ton quite yet, but it will start thickening a whole lot more within the next 3 to 4 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and do the pour now. Uh-oh, looks like I might have come up just a hair short. Alright, the epoxy is all dried out, nice and hard. Now for the next step, we're basically gonna flip it like so, rinse and repeat. Now if we look right here, you'll notice I put a line right here and a line right here as a reference point for where the next part is going to be positioned right here. Alright, we're going to bring up the same river, and I am basically just going to position it between those two lines. We are done carving out this side. This is going to be the main side pretty much. So I was going to use this Flex Seal to seal it up on the side, but I've had it kind of a while, and well, the whole thing kind of dried out on me. So looks like we're gonna have to get a new one. Alright, we got 2 cups, 6 ounces each, about a 12-ounce pour. Let's get to mixing. Alright, this sucker's finished drying. Let's do the big reveal. Now I already loosened this sideboard, so I don't have to struggle on camera. Let's go ahead and reveal it. And damn son, look at that. Looks like that seal worked pretty dang well. This is the Gorilla Flex Seal, or Gorilla Paste. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we finished all 3 pours on all 3 sides. I did plane this side down already, so we're going to plane the paste off here and flatten out the top a little bit as well. For the next step in our leg process here, what we're going to do is I have a piece of MDF right here. I'm actually just going to line that up with the edges. I'm going to get my pencil and we're going to draw a line right here on the bottom. Now for this part, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to do the best I can to freehand some sort of design on here. Alright, now that we have our design on our piece, we're taking it over here to the bandsaw and we're going to cut it out. Alright, our shape came out looking beautiful. However, we do have some ridges going on here from the bandsaw, so we're going to sand that right off. Alright, here is our shape. Now we're just going to line it up the best we can. That looks pretty good, and we're going to draw it on the best we can. And we repeat on the other sides. If you guys plan on doing this yourself, you're gonna want to save the pieces you cut off. Make sure you cut them off in one piece. I'm gonna show you why. So they go on just like that, and the reason is because you're gonna need them to cut the next side out right here. See the design? The design is on the pieces you cut off, so you're gonna want to put them back down, hold them on probably with a piece of double-sided sticky tape. It'll hold these in place and allow you to cut out the next side. There is the shape, guys. Check that out. Hold on. Let me switch to a wider view. There she is. There is the whole shape, looking super good in my opinion. That new bandsaw blade cuts like butter, and I love it. I got one of the pedestals, and I pre-handed some more cutouts we're gonna do. I kind of don't really like how bulky the bottom looks, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of carving and see if I can get it looking a little bit better. Right, once we have it all carved out and sanded down, we'll have a beautiful shape just like that. Check that out. Oh yeah, look at that. And that's how it's gonna look. So let's get the other three finished in 3, 2, 1. And here is the final result. I think these pieces look absolutely gorgeous. And the next step is going to be stain. The way that I typically stain is I just, I get a napkin. I usually like to use the auto store napkins, but I don't have any, so we're just gonna use a regular napkin. I like to clean this top up. I'm gonna get that stain right off the top, just like that. Super dark color. I think it looks great. And I'm gonna try my best to work around the epoxy. Now that our pieces are properly treated and dried for about 30 minutes, I'm going to use this wood stain. This is red mahogany from Bayer, and we're going to apply some stain to it.
Lighten up, take me on your magic river. Tell me all your dreams align. about the people that you know who are trying to feel alive.
So this is what it's looking like once we have the bottom part stained. I'm not going to stain the top quite yet because we still have quite a bit of work to do to it. I went and picked these up from Harbor Freight. These are some, I forgot what they're called, but they're intended for sanding. They're intended to get into crevices like what we have here. I'm going to use them to try to smooth out certain areas like this chip, or take off these darker areas.
Life can get hard, so honey, if you need to cry, just come share my...
Now we can go ahead and start filling in these cracks.
I wanna hear about everything you're ever...
Alright, I'm back looking at this project. I kind of threw this off to the side for a couple months because I was a little disappointed in the epoxy. It didn't quite fill the cracks. It kind of just kept absorbing and absorbing more and more epoxy. So after like 3 days, I kind of just gave up. But if I did another pour, I feel pretty confident it would stick. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm not entirely sure yet.
I wanna hear about everything you're ever thinking. You know that I can take the truth. Call me out if you think I'm never slipping. Maybe I can turn it around. Oh yeah. Baby, if you want us, you know time is on our side. Things are gonna haunt us, we'll just have to put aside. And I'm right here if you just need to cry. Come love, share my pillow, and rain, rain, go away. Been some time since you fixed me. I'll never forget your tired light.
Alright, first things first, if you guys made it this far in the video, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you guys for watching my video, but we're not over yet. Don't you click away. I, for some reason, forgot to record myself finishing the coffee table. Basically, I just sprayed it with my spray gun. So fortunately for you guys, we're gonna get to skip right to the reveal, and this is it, baby. Check it out. Look at that beauty right there. This is how she came out after everything is said and done. All in all, I think it came out awesome. This was a super long video. It took me roughly 2 weeks just to edit this video and way longer to record it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, and as always, have an awesome day.